Magistrate Leiland Poonsamy has dismissed the Section 174 discharge application for EFF leader Julius Malema and party MP Mbuyiseni Ndlozi in the Randburg Magistrates Court. Section 174 allows the court to deliver a verdict of not guilty if it is of the opinion that there is no evidence that Malema and Ndlozi committed the offence they are charged with. The pair is facing a common assault charge for allegedly assaulting Lieutenant Colonel Johannes Venter in 2018 when he tried to stop their vehicle from entering the Fourways Memorial Park, where the late struggle icon Winnie Madikizela-Mandela was being laid to rest. Julius Malema has taken to the stand, being led by his lawyer, advocate Laurence Hodes. Well, for more on this story, let's cross now to Canny Maphanga, who's been covering the story for us. Kenny, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us what transpired.
Good afternoon to you, Nombu, and the viewers at home. As you may know, accused one Julius Malema has taken the stand after Section 174 discharge application has been dismissed in the Randburg Magistrates Court. Now, we do understand that this is his opportunity to tell his side of the story with respect to what happened at the events of April 2018 on the day that Winnie Madikizela-Mandela was buried at the Fourways Memorial Park. As you may know, Colonel Venter, a member of AfriForum and the complainant in the matter, blocked the vehicle from entering the venue, as well as an altercation that followed after that. Now, Julius Malema says this is not about a common assault case. He has attributed this case to a political agenda. He's stating that AfriForum has a hatred for EFF, the party which he leads, and this is just another case for AfriForum to try and nail him on some charges. But I do have the head of the private prosecution unit who pursued the case first. As you may know, they do privately prosecute some cases, AfriForum, and the MPA decided to take this common assault case on, but this is initially an AfriForum case. Phyllis, I'm just going to ask you to get a bit closer to me so we can discuss this issue that Julius Malema has discussed on the stand, saying that AfriForum is targeting Julius Malema because of their hatred for the EFF.
Good afternoon. Maybe we must just set the record straight. Mr. Venter testified that he was a member of Solidarity, which is a union organization. Our office has been approached by Herter and Speech. Me, myself and Mr. Now are members of the National Bar Council of South Africa. We are therefore here as legal representative, as a watching brief on behalf of Mr. Venter. The fact was never disclosed by Mr. Venter that he was a member of AfriForum, so it might be a mistake on that part. We are very satisfied with the judgment provided by the court. It is very clear that the court gave a judgment in the 174 application based on the law. We must all remember that Mr. Malema and Mr. Ndlozi at no stage denied the assault on Colonel Venter. We must further remember that Colonel Venter was 36 years in the service of the South African Police Service, protecting the President as part of the VIP protection unit, protecting the highest of our country, the President, the Deputy President, all the ministers, and that was his duty for 36 years. So on the day of the incident, he followed instructions. He knew that the whole of EXCO was available or present on the funeral of Miss Winnie Mandela, and he had to protect these members or the people that he served. He was just performing his duty after 36 years when this incident occurred.
In this video that we have seen quite extensively a number of times in this court, he acts solely by himself. There are tons of officials around that do not assist him in this duty that he was performing. Do you have an explanation for that? Malema is saying that there was no such instruction that that vehicle could not enter the venue.
Well, it will be very irresponsible of me to comment on any merits. We must all remember that this court case is still ongoing. The trial is still proceeding. Mr. Malema as well as Mr. Ndlozi still needs to testify. And at the end of the day, the court will have to make a finding regarding the facts of the matter. So it will be very irresponsible of me to comment on the actions or what we saw on the video footage.
And Phyllis, do you have any sympathy for the circumstances that Malema is saying led to this altercation out at the Fourways Memorial Park. He's saying that it was an emotional day. He was burying his mother. Here is Mr. Colonel Venter saying that he cannot go in and bury his mother, which led to an act of provocation. That's how they describe it as the defense. Do you have any understanding for these circumstances that led to this common assault, alleged common assault?
Obviously, there's a lot of understanding. We can just imagine what Mr. Malema had to go through on that specific day, burying his mother, which is very clear, was very close to his heart. That was his mentor, the person that he looked up to. But we have to look on the facts of the matter, that Colonel Venter was fully clothed in police uniform. And we also have to look at the evidence on record, which is clear that Mr. Venter never said that Mr. Malema cannot enter. He only asked permission to grant him to entry into the premises. It's also clear from Colonel Venter's evidence that he said he told the driver that they can park there and walk in, but that was refused. So that is also evidence that's already on record, and what Mr. Malema, I assume, will at the end of the day answer to during his testimony.
Mr. Malema has almost characterized in his testimony this incident as an isolated incident that wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have been able to bury his mother. Do you understand the circumstances, rather, that he's trying to portray to the court, that this was not an assault? This is something that could have happened and they could have resolved through the principles of Ubuntu that were allegedly blocked by AfriForum according to his testimony. Why did that occur?
Unfortunately, I cannot talk or discuss anything that happened between AfriForum and EFF or Ubuntu, for that matter, that we were not part of. What I can say is that we must all remember that the NPA is dominus litis. They are the ones at the end of the day who decides to prosecute or not, and the prosecution was instituted against Mr. Malema by them.
All right, thank you so much. That was AfriForum giving us an update outside the court following Julius Malema's testimony, where he has dismissed this case as merely a political agenda by AfriForum. Unfortunately, Nompu, I have run out of time. Over to you in studio.
Thanks very much, Canny Maphanga, there reporting on the Julius Malema case.